As far as whether they can actually hit the targets going up to, I believe it's 2027, I don't think so. And it's actually for the reason that we just spoke about, is I think the government and the IMF are too optimistic about the economic growth that Sri Lanka will be able to achieve over the next 5 years. And it's not just because of domestic policies. You see, I repeat that for countries to grow fast, what we've seen in East Asia is that they need to go for that export-oriented industrialization strategy. But then there's also the external forces. And I think this is something that the IMF should have actually should have given more prominence in its report, the fact that they know that the world is now headed towards a recession. And Sri Lanka cannot escape the damage from that. And so income is going to be hit again, you know, not just by the domestic forces, but by the external forces as well. So I think the projections have been far too optimistic if we look at the deficit and the public debt. And not only because of the denominator, which is GDP, but the nominator as well, because what's going to happen, especially because the poor are now subject to such high tax rates, is they will be hit very hard when a recession comes again from the external, from the global economy. The government will have to then increase its expenditure. There will be no choice. I mean, it's either that or let the people starve. I saw a report just the other day, I'm sure you both have seen it too, where a survey estimated that Sri Lanka now has 7 million people living in poverty.
Yes, I was just going to come to that, Bram, because I mean, and Talal, you mentioned the need for cash transfers, and cash transfers is kind of a buzzword that we've been hearing when the IMF came in to Sri Lanka as well. Social protections they've mentioned multiple times. So as Bram has mentioned, the ADB, the World Bank report, I think, came out and said that poverty in Sri Lanka went from 3 million people to 7 million people. So it's a virtual doubling of poverty. Urban poverty has tripled. So can we then definitively say, Talal, that the cash transfers and social protections have failed? Can we say that?
Yes, we can, because currently if you look at the program Samurdhi, it has been a failure. I think like that day there was a thing I was reading about the top 20%, about 12% of the Samurdhi funds are going to them. So it's very politically biased. So it has been a complete disaster. So it's not going towards the people who actually need it. So that's what, as the IMF report says, we need to do a sort of the World Bank is working on it, the diagnostic, to find out who exactly. It's going to be a sort of a digital process which we have limited knowledge on. So I think that would give a fairer balance, and we can have a much better program instead of the subsidies which indirectly or even directly help the rich a bit more. And also, if I may add, like subsidy programs such as, like, for example, subsidizing petrol also encourages people to use up more fuel. Like the rich would rather pump a bit more so that they can get the benefits. So with a change, with a proper cash transfer program, the current one is not good.